Steve Owen has worked hard this year to shore up the Fujitsu Series title. Those further down the ladder inside the top 10 have faced their own challenges. Owen's teammate Jeff Emery is used to running his own car, but this is his first year as part of the Greg Murphy Racing stable, and it's benefited the 38-year-old.
We get a lot of feedback from Steve Owen, and he gives us a lot of help along the way, and obviously the car setup we share between the two, and his feedback to that is awesome.
17-year-old Scott McLaughlin jumps straight from go-karts into tin tops, and the youngest driver in the field admits that his first year in the development category has been a big learning curve.
Ups and downs, totally. You know, we've gone from extreme highs of making top fives and obviously crashing at Bathurst. So it's been good. It's been a long journey. So it's been good to carry into next year, 2011, and see how we go.
It's a family affair for brothers Drew and Aaron Russell. With the support of their father Wayne, they run their team on a shoestring budget. But despite some major setbacks, including a big crash at Bathurst, they still find ways to mix it with the bigger teams without the best equipment.
The big motivation is, I want to get to the main game, and when I race against these guys, sure, we don't have the horsepower sometimes, all that kind of stuff, but when you go that little bit deeper under brakes or you're that little bit quicker through the corner, it just makes you feel good inside. That's all you can really do. You just build on that.
In his first year out of Formula V's, younger brother Aaron is actually beating his older brother on the points ladder and is enjoying this new phase of his career.
Just the competitiveness. Formula V, if you've never really been wheels, but here you get hit up the bum and, you hit someone else and it's all just game on. So it's just a lot of different racing craft than what I've been used to.
What a difference a year has made for Marcus Sukanovic. After a season on the sidelines, recovering from a bad crash that nearly ended his racing career, he's returned to the series and is focusing on finishing off the year with some solid results.
I'm here back this season, hopefully trying to finish inside the top 10, which is, I think, a great achievement in my equipment that I've got. With the guys I've got around me, we're really working hard to hopefully put this year down as good grounding for 2011.
Well, for the final time in 2010, the Fujitsu V8 Supercars are on the track. The warm-up lap for this 17-lap final race of the weekend and indeed of the season. The champ Steve Owen on the front row with Nick Percat, the grid determined by the finishing order of race 1, and James Moffat and Tim Blanchard on row 2. Now, there's 92 points between Blanchard, David Russell, James Moffat and Nick Percat in the fight for second. This could go anyway.
Definitely could go anyway. As we've seen before, it's no mean feat just to finish these races on the street circuits like at Homebush without any damage on your car. So those guys will be pushing hard.
David Russell starting 18th after those dramas in the earlier race. Scott McLaughlin, they found a bench shock in that car. Not his fault. He didn't hit a curb. There was a bit of an assembly problem before coming here this weekend. So now, the final race of the year. Can Nick Percat steal a win off Steve Owen? Let's see how he goes off the start.
Fantastic
Great
start.
jump, moves across.
Very aggressive too, moves straight across in front of Steve Owen. We'll see what, he's popped out in front. Fantastic start, good job.
The reigning Formula 4 champ leads on merit at turn 1. Moffat's through to third, then Blanchard. David Russell cuts the curb, keen to just get through the order and get up there and race with those guys. Tony Bates into the fence.
That's messy. That's not what you want to see on the first lap, but those guys hopefully can clear themselves up so we don't have a safety car.
And Paul Morris dive bombs Tim Blanchard, the kid that he gave an enduro ride to at Phillip Island.
We know Paul Morris is a racer. He's going to put the race he's in right now first and foremost before anything else, so he's not going to give Blanchard any favours at all.
Drew Russell through on Aaron McGill. Colin Cedars next, then Scott McLaughlin starting from down in the pack. In the Fujitsu 4, just behind him, John Boston making his debut. But Percat has got the lead, and he's got a margin. So Steve Owen, if he thought he was going to cruise and collect one more race win, he's got news for him.
Well, the pressure's off, yellow flag, safety car. So obviously those the two cars after the first corner couldn't clear themselves up, probably stuck in gear or couldn't get in reverse. So
there's Tony Bates.
Oh, he's got more damage than I thought, so that's going to need a tilt tray for sure.
Let's have a look on the replay again. I think he got a tag from behind. Or just squeezed across.
Yeah, you just got to give each other room. Those guys didn't do that and paid the price.
And that was Nathan Vince who was involved there. So we're under safety car at Sydney Olympic Park. Rodney Jane has managed to make it back to pit lane. But it's Nick Percat who leads the way. A restart in a few moments' time when we come back. into green flag racing conditions with the Fujitsu V8 Supercar Series. Tony Bates' car has been removed from the fence, and Nick Percat is your race leader in this final race of the championship. David Russell, the Jayco Falcon, is charging. He started 18th, and if he's any chance to finish the top few in the championship, he needs to pass some more cars.
He's charging big time. We know he's got the pace to charge through. He didn't quite pull that move off. That's messy. Back in the pack, it always gets messy, but he's got to charge through these guys if he's got any chance of keeping second place.
That was spirited with David Bernard on board the ex-WPS Falcon, which has now got a few Triple Eight components in it that Ryan Hansford's been driving this year. Ryan aggravated an old rugby injury, an ankle injury, so they got David Bernard to fill in. Pretty good fill-in, fresh from the endurance races with Fujitsu Racing.
As we can see, everyone knows Dave Bernard's he's a hard racer. He's not going to give Dave Russell any favours whatsoever, but we can see Nick Percat doing a good job out in front. This is a big opportunity for him because on these street circuits, it's very difficult to overtake. Even if you're much faster than the other cars, you know, your brakes get hot, the motor gets hot, so he's got to put his head down, not look in the mirrors, and trust that he's got enough speed to keep Steve Owen at bay.
This chicane here has been slightly modified from last year, a bit more room on the exit with that wall moved back, so it's just sped up the lap times just a little from last year, but this is a stunning job from Percat. Owen clearly is faster, but around a street track, it's a little bit easy to hold off a faster car.
Absolutely. Look, Nick's he's fast enough that he doesn't need to block Steve Owen. If he keeps his head down, keeps it clean, you know, he'll have a clear run to the finish. But that's easier said than done when you've got the pressure of someone right behind you. It's not an easy task at all, so he's doing a great job so far.
Aaron McGill there, Scott McLaughlin, Colin Cedars, Shane Price, and Tom Tweedy next through. We jump aboard with Cedars in the Bisley Workwear Falcon, finished 14th in race 1. Job's not done yet, though, according to the rear wing.
Yeah, new sponsor for this weekend with Bisley Workwear too, so it's great that he's getting their support for this weekend.
This is the complex in and around the railway station that pops up inside the track, but this is where the pressure is. This is where we will find out exactly what Nick Percat's made of. He's got the two-time Fujitsu champ, a guy who's won a race in the main game this year, hot on his hammer, and with pace to burn. So how does he deal with this?
Pace to burn and nothing to lose. All he's going out for now is a race win, Steve Owen. He's, you know, the championship's over, so he's going to be pushing 100%. As I said, Nick's really just got to keep his head down, keep it cool. As soon as he panics, Steve's going to see that and he's going to pounce on him.
Lap 6 of 17.
And
the way that Owen car rides the curbs, though, just looks so good.
The car does look very, very nice. It's nice and supple. It's nice over the bumpy bits of track. Good shot control. Uses the curbs very, very well, which is important on a track like this, obviously.
Percat leading the way. Started the year in the older model VZ Commodore from the J Motorsport team, based out of Adelaide. Has been under the wing of Walkinshaw Racing for the last couple of years, and with performances like this, he's got to put himself right in the mix for an endurance drive next year.
For sure. I mean, this is a great way for him to finish his season off. Oh, Steve Owen, big lunge down the inside. Great move. Brakes light. He's pulled it up. That's a very good job. He had everything right on the limit there. There was absolutely nothing left to pull that car up. Good job.
He had the tyre locked. He had it right at the apex of the corner. And look who's just sneaking up here. James Moffat has not let them go too far. And that Falcon looks like it's been coming on stronger in the second half of races. We saw it at Sandown. He made a mistake on the first lap of the last race, but came storming through and missed out on a race win by, I think it was 0.04 of a second.
He's had pace to burn all year, and especially in the second half of the year. He's just got to keep it clean, and he's got the pace to try and push through these guys if he finds the opportunities, but he's got to keep his head. Here we go, replay of Steve Owen down the inside. Absolutely nothing left. That's a tricky part of the track. The road is going up and down. It's like a roller coaster, and when you crest those hills, the wheels want to lock up. So big lunge there, great job.
And Owen's clearing away now. Percat dropping back to James Moffat. Morris in fourth. Tim Blanchard right with him. Then David Bernard and David Russell. The Jayco Falcon just hasn't had the weekend that he needed. They lost the clutch. They had a bit of clutch slip at the start of race 1. They've replaced a bent diff for this race after that contact. It's just all come unravelled after a couple of really strong rounds.
Yeah, that's a pity for him. He's had, you know, one of the other guys who's had very good speed all year. Obviously been one of the quickest cars, but hasn't had a clean run throughout the year. Interesting battle with Paul Morris and Tim Blanchard there. Tim behind his one of his major sponsors, so always a difficult situation. Not one I've experienced before, but it's going to be slightly awkward.
Just on board there in the Norton 360 Falcon with James Moffat. Drove at the endurance races this year with Steve Richards in the Dunlop Super Dealer Falcon, finished at 11th in his first attempt at the Super Cheap Auto Bathurst 1000. But here's that fight you referred to. Morris in the Love Commodore, Blanchard in the Cirame Falcon, and having a lunge as well.
Well, Morris missing the apex there. Look, I think he'd want Tim to push hard. He's a racer. He respects guys who race hard with him, so I don't think there'll be too many dramas there, but that was a clean move, so no problem.
We saw Tim race at the LNH 500 with Greg Murphy down at Phillip Island. Oh, Marcus Sukanovic off the road at turn 1. Has had a really good weekend. And rejoins just behind John Boston in the Bluestone Commodore.
Tim Blanchard, he'll be relieved to know he's getting a little bit of a buffer zone to Paul Morris. He's always a good guy to have a bit of space between.
Aaron Russell in pit lane. The ESET Falcon, we're hearing, has dropped a cylinder, so that will be his first retirement for 2010. Daniel Gillison is in the fence, one of the 3 Greg Murphy Racing entries here this weekend.
It's a pity he was having a good run.
And that will bring out the safety car, so it'll tighten the field up for one last dash home in 2010. The champ Steve Owen leads the way. There's a hungry pack though, not too far behind. Back at Sydney Olympic Park, Paul Fiore launching a move on Colin Cedars, but into the side of him.
Unfortunately, Colin came off second best there. Paul just wasn't far enough in there. That move was never on, and poor Colin got turned around.
Paul Morris in pit lane. The Love Commodore is out of love. It's a retirement from this second race. David Bernard is under the gun. He sits in 4th place, doing a stunning job. Tim Blanchard gets attacked from David Russell, who in turn turns the Repco Falcon around.
That was no good. I mean, Dave Bernard's doing a fantastic job in a car which hasn't run this far up the field all year, and 2 very fast guys behind him. So he was under pressure doing a good job and got turned around there.
He was the last one in the chain. A little bit of a bump from Russell. I'm sure that'll get looked into by race officials. The general format this year has been post-race championship point penalties, but sometimes you just never know what penalties are going to end up coming out of these races.
When it's as blatant as that, they may as well just get it over and done with and do it during the race. But you can see Tim Blanchard had, obviously a fair bit of brake fade being tucked up behind a car there. Front brakes fade, rear brakes lock very easily, and that's what happens. You've got to allow for it.
Steve Owen leads the way. Couple of laps to go in the championship for 2010. Nick Percat has pulled a margin on James Moffat. Very solid run from the Bundy Red Commodore. Finished on the podium at Bathurst, and he's backing it up in a very strong second half of the year.
It's a really strong performance. I mean, he hasn't quite hung with Stevie Owen, but James Moffat's proven to be very good in the second half of races. And, in this second half of the race, obviously Nick Percat's pulled away from him, so it's a great performance.
A few different stories this weekend floating around about the future of James Moffat. Whether he goes Fujitsu Series racing again, whether he can find an opportunity in the main game in the Champ Series.
He's looking nice and relaxed in there, as usual. He's a relaxed-looking driver, does a great job. Plenty of action outside the car, but inside the car, he's, you could see he's on top of it.
He's quite a laconic fellow, James Moffat. He's come through V8 Utes, Formula Ford, Carrera Cup. He's won in them all and really only spent 1 year in each. This is his second year in the Fujitsu Series, was a runner-up last year.
There's no doubt he's very talented, and it's great seeing guys with plenty of flair who have a good crack on the track. But, as everyone always says, it's easier to slow guys down a little bit than it is to speed them up. So there's no one ever doubts his pace, but he's got to not make quite as many little mistakes and just keep it a bit cleaner.
And that's what this series is really all about. For pretty much 10 years, it's been about developing the young talent and giving them an opportunity and a platform to shine on. But it's kind of morphed into a different look and feel series this year, a little bit like the nationwide series in NASCAR in the States, where you've got the endurance drivers who are wanting to do 1 or 2 rounds here or there to get their eye in before Bathurst. You've got the young guys who are keen to get in there and prove a point. It's a really good mix. I like where the series is at.
I think it's fantastic. I mean, at Townsville, for example, we had all the guys, all the real experienced guys like Craig Baird, Dave Reynolds, all those guys were doing that event to get miles for the Enduros. And, geez, it was some good racing.
David Russell here on the final lap. If he finishes where he runs right now, he's going to get pipped for second in the championship at the last round for the second year in a row. Percat, though, is not lifting out of this. He's going to stay with this all the way through this final lap.
Yeah, no, he's pushing on right till the end. He's got a clear. I mean, he doesn't need to put. He could back it off a little bit now. He's got enough space behind him that James isn't going to catch him. But good to see that he's pressing on right to the end, trying to keep the gap to Stevie Owen down as low as possible.
The top 3 in this race on target to finish in the top 3 for the round for the weekend. Of course, the Fujitsu Series is a 7-round championship. 18 races in total across those 7 rounds. A bit of a mixture between 3 races and 2 races on weekends. We've had reverse top 10 races. It really is a bit of a mix. But through it all, one man has been dominant. Steve Owen for the final time in 2010. This is pretty much it. The champ will win the final race of the season. He takes the round at Sydney Olympic Park, and that is the way to stamp your claim on the championship.
It's fitting that he wins the final race. He's won 8 races this season, so it's a very dominant performance and a fantastic job. Dave Russell with smoke coming out of his car over the line, so he's happy to see the checkered flag.
He crosses the line 5th, just behind Tim Blanchard. But yeah, you're right, Owen has really dominated this season. 4 round wins, 8 race wins, 6 pole positions. The stats say it all. David Russell in 5th, but under investigation for that contact earlier on. Scott McLaughlin, good drive. Jeff Emery, David Bernard, and Shane Price rounded at the 10. Marcus Sukanovic just outside, 17 cars on the lead lap, and Brian Ingerson's with our runner-up.
Nick, congratulations. A good solid result to round out the season and another podium.
Yeah, it was a great weekend for us. Can't really complain. The boys worked a lot of hours to get all the cars here, and to get through our problems we had in qualifying, only getting 1 lap to still qualify in the top 4 was awesome, and then pretty much be able to just hang on to Steve a little bit throughout the races was good, and pretty much show we're the quickest rookie this year, and yeah, didn't probably get the result we wanted at the end, but we showed here that we're quick and we don't damage cars or crash cars, so I'm looking forward to next year.
For the round, Steve Owen stands atop. Nick Percat and James Moffat is down the podium. Great drive. Marcus Sukanovic 5th for the weekend. Aaron McGill in 9th, his first top 10 finish in some 5 seasons. But you can't take it away from this man. Steve Owen is the champ.
Steve, you've proved what you needed to prove here in the Fujitsu Series. What's the next step?
Hopefully the main game. That's the aim of the Fujitsu Series, to catapult in the main game. This year's been great. You know, it helps when you've got good teams behind you like Greg Murphy Racing and Triple Eight. So fingers crossed to be in Abu Dhabi next year.
Celebrations tonight with the GMR team?
Absolutely. They're a hard-working team and they really deserve this, so we'll have a few drinks.
Well done.
In the end, the margin, 315 points. Tim Blanchard jumps to 2nd to finish runner-up. Moffat 3rd from Percat. David Russell tumbles down the leaderboard to finish 5th. Aaron and Drew Russell in the top 10 for 2010. But Steve Owen, he is the man. So that ends the 10th anniversary season in the Fujitsu V8 Supercar Series. 7 rounds of exciting action in 2010. To keep in touch with all the off-season news though, log on to the web, v8supercars.com.au. Thanks to Bryony, Alex and the whole crew, I'm Aaron Noonan. We'll see you in 2011.